All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to a very special celebration of Agent Appreciation Month with Europamundo. Today, we're thrilled to have Javier, Europamundo's tour and sales manager, with us here to guide us through what makes Europamundo a leader in the travel industry. They're part of the prestigious JTB Group, the largest tourism and travel company in Asia, and they have over a century under their belt of creating unforgettable travel experiences. So during this month of May, in honor of our awesome agents, Europamundo is offering 12% commissions on all of their tours. They're offering exclusive travel agent rates of up to 50% off and companion rates of up to 30% off selected tours. So we have my colleague Gauti here as well. Gauti, if you don't mind just sharing the Agent Appreciation Month link just for anyone to take a look at, that would be awesome. And today you're not only going to gain invaluable insights into the world of travel through Javier, but also have the incredible chance to win a dream Europamundo trip for one. So that's right, anyone who's here and attending this webinar has the chance to win this Europamundo tour of their choosing. We are going to be announcing this post-webinar, so we'll be reaching out to the winner post-webinar. Just stay tuned for that. And before we dive into this journey with Javier, I'm just going to let everyone know that we are going to have a question and answer period at the end. So for anyone who is not familiar with our GoToWebinar platform here, if you look in the top right corners of your screen, you'll kind of see three icons in is a questions tab. It can either be anonymous, not anonymous. It is only going to be coming to the organizers. So that's where we'll be taking questions at the end of the presentation. And in the meantime, keep in touch in the chat. Gauti's going to be putting some helpful resources there for you as well. So let's dive into this journey, and perhaps you might be a lucky winner to embark on this adventure of a lifetime. So over to you, Javier.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. My name is Javier Villodre. I work as a sales manager as well as a tour manager. As a tour manager, 12 years with Europamundo, as a sales manager for the product in English since we started selling Europamundo in English in 2015. But that is not the total years of the company being operating in the market. We have been since 1996. We started offering guaranteed departures to passengers in Spanish and Portuguese located all over the American continent. Lots of Argentinians, Colombians, Mexicans used to come in the product to Europe using the product of Europamundo in Spanish and Portuguese. And in 2015, we had the blessing of being acquired by a Japanese group called Japan Travel Bureau, a company with more than 100 years in the market, as Emily mentioned, and that they were the sponsors of the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2021, and they have more than 20,000 employees around the world. The company Europamundo Vacations is a Spanish company based out of Madrid in Spain, the capital city, and we have the headquarters in there, and we manage all the operations of Europamundo in English all over the world from that office in Madrid. But we are also a member of the United Nations World Tourism Organization. They have their head office in Madrid also. So as we are close, we do a lot of initiatives together, and we propose a lot of the initiatives and policies that they are trying to promote around the world. Especially in the sense of being a professional company, a transparent company, and doing business in a fair way. But also we support the World Travel and Tourism Council and the UN Global Compact for Europamundo Vacations as a company. €2 of what any passenger spends on a tour will go dedicated to a foundation that we have that takes care of projects where we try to bring the wealthy of the tourism industry that we generate into other communities with less resources. So this slide is more for you to understand that we are not newcomers, that we have been in the business almost for 30 years, that we belong to a powerful group, a tourism group from Japan, and that we are also a member of the UNWTO. On the screen, you have a typical tour of Europamundo, a typical tour starting in Prague in the eastern side of Europe, going to Innsbruck one night in Kitzbühel, 2 nights in Vienna, all that in Austria, then one night in Hungary, in Budapest, and then going back to Prague. This type of tours, this is what you can find in the website of Tour Radar. But also, just for your information, all the tours that we have, many of the tours that we have actually, they are what we call the rotating tours, which means that technically a client could choose where they want to start. In the website of Tour Radar, you will have the tours as they are, but if at any time you have any request to start in a different city, or to just get a sector of the tour, or the possibility to include the stopovers, you can just let us know. But on the website of Tour Radar, you have many different tours starting from many different cities around the world, because we cover tours all over the world. We cover destinations such as United States, Canada, Mexico. We have all the European countries: Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, Greece, Turkey, Morocco, Egypt, all Middle East, including Israel. Hopefully, whenever the situation gets better, we will be able to operate the tours in Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Jordan, but also we have tours in Asia, in Japan, China, and South Korea. So possibilities for clients to discover either only one country, or to discover a combination of 2, 3 countries, even 6, 7 countries in one go, because we are selling all over the world. We have passengers. As long as they speak English, we will have the operations in that language. The guide will speak English, and the departure will be guaranteed with only 2 passengers. So you can sell comfortably any of the tours that we have into Radar, because that tour is going to happen. We will never contact you to let you know that the tour is canceled because we didn't reach a certain amount of passengers. With us, 2 passengers, we guarantee the departure. Everything is on the website of To Radar, all the information. But also, something that I think it's important for you to know as a travel agent is that the type of tours that we offer, um, we allow all kind of ages. We don't have any age limit. Some people might think, why do you want to travel with your son of 3 years old? Well, we don't want to take those decisions for those parents. We want those parents to take their own decision. If they think it's a good option for that family to travel with a child, we will welcome them. As a tour manager, I can tell you that children, generally speaking, they behave much better than the adults. But anyway, in case we have any child on board, they will always pay as a child. They will never pay as an adult. So we have a powerful discount policy. Children with less than 3 years old, they will pay only 20%. They will have a discount of 80%. Children from 3 to 8 years old, 40% discount. 9 to 15, even if they cannot be considered like children, we can say like young spirits or teenagers, they will still get a 10% discount. And also we have a small discount for the triple room of 5%. And also we offer discount for travelers, senior travelers with more than 65 years old, and to repeaters. A repeater for us is a person that travels with Europamundo, fills out the questionnaire of quality of Europamundo, and we give them what we call the club passenger number. With that number, every time that they book a tour, if it's allowed in that specific tour, we will honor that 5% discount for the passenger. And then what we do different is mainly what we offer as a product, because we talk about value for money. This is one of the main things that we offer as a company: value for money. What is value for money? We mean by value for money the possibility to purchase a package with lots of inclusions, with lots of things included, but also with quality. It's not super luxurious 5-star over the top. It's convenient, it's nice. Everybody can travel with us and have a wonderful experience. We will use 4-star hotels mainly, but we also have sometimes in some countries like Egypt or Morocco 5-star hotels. But mainly we use 4-star hotels located within the city, not right by the main monuments of the city. If we go to a city like Paris, we will stay in the city of Paris, always close to a metro stop, to a bus stop, or close to a train station. Place is well communicated. Or if you want to take a taxi or an Uber or any of those apps, you will not have to pay a fortune to go to the historical city center. For a lot of people, when they come to Europe, we have to make the difference between the historical city center, where you have all the monuments that we will see during the city tour, and then other places in the city that they are considered the central part of the city. And this is the place where we have usually our hotels. In some small towns, we might have them right in the city center of those cities. But generally speaking, we are talking about four-star hotels within the city that we are visiting. And also, in every city, you will have city tour with a local expert. So we will have 2 hours and a half, 3 hours with a local expert, seeing from the bus and doing a couple of stops to discover Paris or London or Berlin or Rome. But also in every city, you will have one or two extra activities. In Paris, we offer the Eiffel Tower. We'll take the guests to the second level. And in after the Eiffel Tower or before, depending on the flow of service, we will offer them also the bateau mouche, which is the boat ride in the River Seine, which is another activity that we think it should be included and it would enhance the experience of the clients. But also, we do evening transfers. I'm not sure if this is because we are a Spanish company and we are known for party people, but we want to show the evening way of life to the clients. Many times, all the services of a lot of companies only happen during the day, but it's also nice to understand a little bit the way of life in the evening. So we will take them from the hotel to a specific spot in the city center to give them 2 hours, 3 hours of free time to have a drink, to have dinner, to go for shopping, or just to go for a walk, and then we will come back all together with the bus. So that is also something that we do in all the major cities in Europe. And also, we will try to include plenty of ticket admissions to the main monuments, monuments such as the Alhambra Palace in Granada, or monuments like the Colosseum in Rome, or ferries to go from one island to the other in Greece. Or, for instance, when we go from France to the UK to England, we'll cross the English Channel by a ferry, and we will go from Calais to Dover. So those kind of experiences are also included in the packages. So always we are very transparent with what we include as a company. And when you check what the price includes, or you check the website of To Radar, you will see all the admissions that we have, all the tickets, all the city tours, even all the meals. Usually in Europe, the product is bed and breakfast, so you will always have buffet breakfast included. But in many other destinations, such as the United States, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, or Egypt, you will have a meal program. And we can accommodate vegetarian or not vegetarian. Of course, if you have any other requests like halal or kosher food, we cannot guarantee it, but please put the observation when you make the booking so we can try to adapt as much as possible, because many times vegetarian food is also suitable for them, and we will be able to give them the food according to their preferences. But that is in terms of the meals, the meal program. So you can see here the inside of one of the buses. It's very comfortable. You have plenty of legroom. I'm 6.3 actually tall, and I can tell you that my knees don't touch the seat in front of me. So it's plenty of legroom. It's quite comfortable, and many of them they will have sockets or plugs to charge the devices or USB connections. Some of them they might even have vending machines where the drivers they fill out with bottles of water, with chocolate bars, with crisps, with things like they can make the life of the passenger a little bit sweeter. You also have a toilet for emergencies on board, and you might have those screens where we can also show with the cameras a little bit of the city. So all that will depend from bus to bus. Also the Wi-Fi connection. I would say that 97% of the buses of Europamundo have the Wi-Fi connection, but sometimes in certain destinations we are obliged because of our operations to do the operations with local buses that might not have some of these features. So always all these features we try to give them as much as possible, but sometimes it might not be guaranteed. And also wanted to mention that in terms of the operations, when we are operating the tours in English, you will always have a dedicated tour guide in English, but sometimes if the number of English speakers is only like two, but we have a group of Spanish speakers of 2025 also doing the same tour, we might join them all together and we'll have the services sometimes in bilingual. We are trying to do that as less as possible, but sometimes that might be the situation. And also another thing that we are doing, we signed after the pandemic the protection code for tourists as a company. We realized during the pandemic that a lot of people got stranded with other companies, but we made sure that all the clients, whenever they have any kind of force majeure happening in their tours, they will always have the support of Europamundo Vacations. This comes also in line with that social responsibility that I mentioned before, being able to support communities with less resources by giving some funds, actually €2 from the what the client pays for every package. But also, we take very seriously the environment, and we are trying to follow as many norms and regulations as possible to also support being an environmentally friendly company. And actually, even if we use the buses, this is our main mean of transport. At the end of the year, we have an audit company that tell us how many millions of trees we have to plant in two different projects in Central America and in Spain to compensate the CO2 emissions that we produce. So technically, we are a zero CO2 emissions company, and we are very proud of that. And a part of those two things, we do plenty of other activities all year long with the people in the office, with the clients, with other organizations to support different causes. What can you sell as a travel agent? Javier is talking too much. We want to know what we can sell, right? So what you can sell is actually the group departures. Whatever I mentioned until now, those are guaranteed group departures. You will sell two seats from two clients in Singapore, let's say, and those clients are going to join the tour in whatever city they will start, let's say in Copenhagen, and then they will do Norway, Sweden, and they will finish in Copenhagen. That is a group of whatever the number of passengers, because it will depend on the sales. We only do B2B sales. We always need travel agents to sell our product. We need you, and this has been for the past 30 years, always giving the support to the travel agents, so you have a product that you have your commission and you can make money out of it. So those group departures only with two passengers, they will happen, and you will have the tour going on. But what happens if that same tour, you think it's wonderful, it's fantastic, and you like the program, but you don't want to join a group tour because you think it's too many people, or you are not used to go with the pace of a group for whatever reason? We give you a second product, which is called privatizable tours. Privatizable is a word that we made up as a Spanish company because it's a Spanish word, privatizable, but we just made it up in English and we said, okay, we're going to call it privatizable tours. So English speakers, I'm sorry that we are making up your language, but privatizable tours are tours exactly the same than those group departures, but for 2 to 7 passengers. We'll have a driver who's going to be your tour guide. You will go in a luxurious minivan and you will drive with your guide driver all over that program. And you will follow that program. It's not that you can do whatever you want or it's a private 24-hour chauffeur. This is a program that we have to follow because we need to follow the European laws of resting time and so on. So any tour where you see that lock that says privatizable, that will be able to be done between 2 to 7 passengers. And also following this reasoning, this way of thinking, also we have what we call trip styles. That would be a third type of product that it's meant to be a private tour with very specific motivations. Usually the tours that you will see into radar pages are general cultural tours, but if you want something very specific, you can also try to see something like, for instance, you have passengers that are asking you that they want to go to the northern part of France and they want to discover all those cities or small towns related with the memory of the Great Wars, the First and Second World War that took place in the first half of the 20th century. We have a tour in private, 2 to 7 passengers of 4 days, starting in Paris, finishing in Paris, that can be a complement to any specific group departure that your clients are doing. Imagine your clients are doing a tour in Paris and France and Switzerland, and they finish in Paris, but they say like, you see, we have a relative and they participated in the Second World War. We want to go and see those places in France. But maybe a lot of people might not be interested. But just because there might be people interested in that specific theme, we offer this called trip styles, or something also like wineries in Spain. If you want to go to La Rioja, which is a very famous wine producer, you can also have a 3-day package in private to get and discover those wineries. So that is trip styles. And also, I'm very excited to announce for you guys also a fourth product that would be the river cruises. Europamundo is partnering with 10 different ship companies to offer river cruises in English. We have started already in the month of May until the month of October, offering the Rhine River, the Danube River, the canals in Netherlands and Belgium, and the Moselle River. So specific guaranteed departures from 2 passengers also with all the services in English. The main difference here is comparing with the tour by bus, this is much more relaxed, calm. You will have portrait service, you will have the transfer in and out, you will have all the food included, full board, buffet breakfast, lunch, dinner. You will have the drinks with those meals. And you will have city tours in every single stop that you do with the boat. You stop in the city center of those cities. So you have a lot of wonderful cruises as river cruises. And we have only one maritime coastal cruise. This is the one that you are seeing here, La Belle de l'Adriatique. It's a 5-star cruise that is going to cover Croatia and Montenegro. We only have one departure, which is the 11th of July of this year. It's a 7 nights, 8 days, Dubrovnik, discovering the Dalmatian coast, lots of different islands, but in a cruise that it's like a river cruise, a small ship comparing with the sea cruises, 3-4 stories with all the entertainment on board and with very good quality in terms of food. So please feel free to sell any of the river cruises. This is the only one that we have as 5-star cruise. Then the other ones in the Danube River or in the Rhine River, they will be 4 stars plus. And every year, and I will go very quickly because I'm finishing, every year we will have new routes in Europamundo. Those routes, whenever you the client purchase the tour, they will have an app that they can download and they can have all the information about that specific tour, the itinerary, the hotels where they're going to stay at, the optional tours if they want to purchase any optional tour. Um, Everything is in that app. So we always recommend the travel agents to encourage clients to download that app. And whenever they are traveling in Europe, in Japan, in the States, wherever they are traveling to, they will have all the information with travel tips, with the weather, with lots of information that can be very, very useful. So the mobile app of Europamundo, Europamundo Vacations, we recommend you to download it. And I mentioned that every year we are going to have new routes, and I will go very quick because my time is getting over. But this year we are emphasizing in trying to bring new routes into the market that can make certain cities in Europe a little bit less congested. The reality of Europe is that we are having a continent that it's completely packed, that it's completely fully booked in many occasions during the year, and we need to bring new routes that allow us to diversify the flow of tourism to other less congested areas in Europe. One of those is, for instance, the Basque Country in Spain. We're going to have more routes covering sleeping in Bilbao, in San Sebastian, in the southwest of France, Bordeaux area, Carcassonne, Lourdes, the Côte d'Azur. All that area is going to be covered. Also in the northeast of France, Alsace area, we're going to have new routes to offer small towns like Colmar or Strasbourg or even Baden-Baden in the Black Forest. We will have lots of new routes covering the northeast of France and the southwest of Germany. Also the south of France with the Côte d'Azur, with Carcassonne, with Marseille, with lots of Aix-en-Provence, lots of many different small cities in the south of France. Also the south of Italy, we are promoting Puglia, the Aeolian Islands, the combinations with Sicily. Instead of going always to Rome, Florence, and Venice, we want to show also a different part of Italy. Also in Norway, we have the possibility to go up to Trondheim and see the fjords like Geiranger or like Brickdalsbreen. And also in the States, we are having new operations combining the eastern coast of the country, the western coast of the country, and also combinations with the eastern side of Canada, with Montreal, Quebec, and some of the new cities like Detroit or Chicago are part of our new routes. And last but not least, if you feel you want to learn a little bit more about our product, there is an academy where you can make courses of Europamundo to understand a little bit more about the product. It's something that you can get a specific diploma, and will teach you a little bit more about our company. But from my side, I think I did it great because it's only 22 minutes by my stopwatch. So thank you very much for listening. From my side, this should be it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Javier. That was great. We told Javier 5 minutes for questions, and he was right on the knot. So that is awesome. We got a ton of questions coming in, which is so great. I guess the first one that we had is tell us about your Spanish tours. And if you do have Spanish tours or bilingual tours, do you typically use a translator device or do you have a tour guide that's just speaking in both languages?
I'll tell you what we are doing this year. The goal of the company is to always have a dedicated tour guide in English. So you will always have one person speaking English. Um, if the number of English speakers is very low, um, we might join them with the Spanish speakers, but still they will have their own dedicated guide in English. Only in very few cases, there might be the option where the guide will be bilingual, but the goal of the company is to have separate guides for the separate groups if we have to join them for operational reasons. But well, this my suggestion is sell as much as possible, so we will not have to join them, and then we can have just the dedicated English speaker only.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And in terms of your river cruises, are they all ages? How does it kind of work in terms of filtering for age groups for that or age range?
Well, to be honest, we never have any age limit for our product. Having said that, I believe it's a product for people who want to enjoy sailing in the rivers in Europe. And that can be something more appealing to people with maybe a little bit more of experience, traveling experience. So I would suggest that, I mean, it's open for any age, but maybe for families with children, that might be a little bit more, I would say, boring than a bus tour that it's a little bit more hectic and will allow you to have more free time in different cities. This you will be sailing from city to city, then you will do a city tour, and you will have a much lower pace type of tour.
Awesome. And do you have any, the next question is, do you have any child-friendly tours or is there a certain tour that you see that is often child-friendly or often booked by families?
You see, like, I wouldn't say that there is a child-friendly tour. All the tours can be done by the children, but for instance, some of the tours in Paris, you can book your Disney as an optional tour. So that is something that might call the attention of families. Or maybe you want to go to London and you want to have an extra day because we can add nights at the beginning and at the end of the tours. So imagine you just do UK, well, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Ireland, and then you come back to England, passing by Wales, and you want to start in London and have an extra day, you can use that extra day to go to the Harry Potter theme park, things like this. In some of those days of that specific tour, for instance, we go to Onyx Castle, and all these castles, palaces, and they always, when we try to explain the history of the places, we try to make it fun so the children also can learn, but also feel not weird about all the explanations. So I mean, it really depends on the tour itself, but technically, we don't have child-friendly tours as such, but we welcome everyone in every tour.
Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, we're getting a ton of questions. If I do not get to your question today, we are going to respond after the webinar, as well as we can always send questions over to Javier to send us the responses back. We did have someone asking, do visitors need to obtain visitor visas for these tours? I'm guessing the answer is if you require that for your country or for the country
That's
that you're
correct.
visiting,
That's
then
correct. Yeah.
absolutely. If you do
That's
have
correct.
any questions, you can always message Europamundo when booking a trip if you need any support with that.
Regarding the visas, I just want to mention that whenever they make a booking, there is a page that it's called My Trip, where the clients can see in that app. with the booking reference number, they can see all the information, and they can pull out a document that it's called the visa support letter. So it gives all the information about the trip, and they can use it as a supporting document for the profile that they will present in the relevant consulate or embassy.
Awesome. This is great. All right, we've got so many more questions coming in, but this is going to be the end of our webinar. Again, if we did not get to you, we will definitely respond after. Javier, thank you. We're getting such amazing reviews from you right now. Great webinar. I learned a lot. This was really awesome. Lots of clapping and hands and heart emojis. So thank you everybody for joining us. And thank you to Javier for taking the time to really educate us further on the ins and outs of booking through webinar. There's 2.5 weeks left of May, so left to get these awesome incentives in and really make it count towards your Europamundo trips. So definitely take advantage. Thank you again so much for joining. And in terms of our one lucky winner, please stay tuned. We'll be reaching out by 5 p.m. EST today. So thank you all so much for joining. We really appreciate it. And we hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you so much.